What up, though, Lions Nation Unite? It's your boy Eazy, and we are here to talk about the Detroit Lions offseason needs. But do me a favor before we get started, and make sure you guys smash that like button, click the subscribe button, and make sure to hit the notification bell. That way, you guys know every single time we drop a news with the Lions' latest. Also, comment down below. What do you think the Detroit Lions' needs are? I'll be discussing mine in this video. We go over some of those options and what to do alongside those needs too. And I'll start like this, man. Women, ducks, whatever you identify as. I think the Detroit Lions' number one need this offseason is to address the defense. I'm a big believer in Kelvin Shepard. However, this is his first year as a defensive coordinator, and I want him to be his best. Allow him to be his best and get another piece alongside Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive line. Now, not necessarily alongside Aiden Hutchinson, because there's going to be two defensive tackles in between there. Two very good defensive tackles, might I add, and Ali McNeil and DJ Reader. But get me another guy on the edge spot. We don't know that Marcus Davenport is coming back. Josh Pascal hasn't really been what you expected of him when you made that draft pick. And I think there's two things you want to see in commonality between those two defensive ends. I'll throw John Kaminsky in there as well. Bigger-bodied guys. That's what the Detroit Lions like to do at the defensive end spot. Now, maybe that could have been an Aaron Glenn feature, a piece that Aaron Glenn likes, or maybe it's just a piece that Dan Campbell likes as well. Maybe it's just a common philosophy. I know that when Dan Campbell talked about his pursuits of a defensive coordinator, he wanted to do a lot of the same things between man coverage and pressuring the quarterback. I'm going to go ahead and assume that defensive end preferability, if that's a word, preference, would be another bigger body gentleman. And I think you can find that in this year's draft. I truly believe there are some big body MFs that fit what the Detroit Lions like to do. I believe the reason why they like to do that. Matter of fact, I know the reason why they like to do that. They want a guy that can set the edge. They want a guy that can play the run just as well as he can pursue the quarterback. That's one of the reasons James Houston didn't work here as a defensive end. He was just too small. At the end of the day, he couldn't do what they wanted him to do consistently. They tried moving to the linebacker spot. He couldn't do what they needed to do there consistently as well. They want a bigger body guy at the defensive end spot. From Marcus Davenport to Josh Pascal, it's very, very clear they are moto and they like them big, okay? And if I'm going that route as an offseason need for an edge, I'm looking at the draft number one. I've allowed myself to dream about Myles Garrett. All right. And the big 9'5". That'd be amazing. But it is a pipe dream as of now. Until it happens, I'm just going to kind of get it out of my head to spare myself some disappointment. I've already had enough when we lost to the Commanders. Sorry for bringing that up. Edge position, big body guy, draft, Shamar Stewart. This is a guy that I've seen as a top 10 prospect all the way down to pick 28 with the Detroit Lions are picking as well. And I think he fits exactly what Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and company like to do at the defensive end / edge position. He is 6'5", 290 pounds. The man could play defensive tackle if he wanted to. But I don't believe that's what he is at the NFL level. I believe he has to get off to be an edge at the NFL level. And I believe his ceiling is amongst the top 15 edge rushers in the league. I really do believe that. I think his go-to move right now is probably just a bull rush. He's got the long arms to do it as well, but obviously you're not going to bully everybody like that in the NFL. If you go look and see some of his Senior Bowl highlights, he is bullying guys. Matter of fact, he left early. Agents, GMs, coaches, he must have got some confirmation that he's going first round or early enough that he didn't need to be at the Senior Bowl anymore because he left early. But yeah, 6'5", 290 pounds. A lot of people, when I brought him up initially, they're kind of disappointed with his college production. He is only 21 years old, but his collegiate production, I believe, it totaled 4.5 sacks. Now I'm talking about every single year he played. Not each year individually, collectively, right? Not great. But at just 21 years old, if I believe in Casey Rogers, Super Bowl winning defensive line coach, just saying, former defensive coordinator as well, worked with some of the best, both the New York Jets and with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he could turn Shamar Stewart into a dog, and I just believe he fits what you want. I believe his basement is like 4 stories short of Marcus Davenport. I think Shamar Stewart can be special in this league. I really do. He's just a few moves away. It's not a Tyree Wilson situation. I know a lot of people said that about Tyree Wilson. I never liked Tyree Wilson as a prospect. It's just simple as watching him get off the ball. It wasn't there. He was in with Shamar Stewart at 290 pounds. His get off is extremely impressive to me. My only fear with falling in love with this prospect is that he does not make it to the Detroit Lions at pick 28, which is why I think you should trade pick 28 to go get Myles Garrett. But I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna bash that in. We don't know if that's happening. Again, we'll kill that for now. Another edge prospect brought to my attention that I saw in a mock draft was Mike Green of Marshall. I believe he had 17 sacks in college football this year. However, we talked about the bigger body guys, right, for the defensive line for the Detroit Lions. He's only 6'3", 250 pounds. In some contexts, I've seen him come up as like 240. That doesn't fit what we're doing. And I know it's one you guys want to get excited about. I don't know that he becomes a Detroit Lion just simply based off his size, the production, the edge, not even the position of the edge, just the mental edge. I think he is an absolute dog coming out of Marshall, but I don't know that he becomes a Detroit Lion. I know we're going over needs, and I know that I'm only talking about edge, but I just feel like this position, if addressed correctly, kind of helps you out in other spots too. We don't have a Sam linebacker right now. I don't know how much Derek Barnes is asking for in the open market. I don't know if the Detroit Lions can pay what Derek Barnes is asking for in the open market. We have Kirby Joseph and Nathan Hutchinson to sign here soon. We just signed Aleem McNeil, Penei Sewell, and Amon St. Brown. And don't forget Jared Goff. I don't know that we'll be able to afford a starting caliber contract for Derek Barnes. I don't know that we're returning Marcus Davenport as well. The other position too is Carlton Davis at the cornerback spot. I think if you have to force Ennis Rakestraw to step into CB2, or even Terrion Arnold stepping up to the CB1, an edge serves you much more than any one of those positions going out there. And I don't think you have to break the big bucks. I like this draft class full of edges, a lot of big guys. I know my guy, Spinney, he likes this kid named Jared Ivey. No, not Jaden Ivey, the NBA Pistons basketball player, Jared Ivey. I'm sure he'll do a video breaking that down too. But for me right now, Shamar Stewart is the bell of the ball, if you will. And if he drops anywhere near 18, I would want Brad Holmes to move up. If we're not going to acquire one of these guys via free agency, because we don't spend that type of money in free agency. I don't know if we could afford to spend that type of money in free agency anymore. If we're not going to trade for Myles Garrett, please get me Shamar Stewart or any first-round caliber edge I would be fine with. I would personally be fine with Mike Green. I just don't know. I just don't think they're going to do it. That's not the type of caliber guys they go after. If we're talking about just open market free agency, a guy that may be in pursuit of a ring, how about Khalil Mack to Detroit Lions? I know he's probably, you're looking at getting another guy that's kind of speedier, a guy that doesn't really rush with his hand in the dirt. But as a guy who's been very productive no matter where he's been throughout his entire career in Khalil Mack. Matter of fact, I get double-digit sacks just last season. Or maybe it's just been 8 sacks. I could be wrong on that one. But in pursuit of a ring, Detroit Lions, kind of in that conversation, could Khalil Mack become a Detroit Lion? All I know is if you get an edge, you're looking a quality edge. I think you dominate as a defense. I really do. With the way Aiden Hutchins started last season, I think he has Defensive Player of the Year caliber. And I just go back and look at the Super Bowl this past season. The Eagles did not blitz Patrick Mahomes not a single time. And Patrick Mahomes, with Philadelphia, because they couldn't run the ball, by the way, too, because of defensive line as well. Patrick Mahomes was pressured 38% of the time. We're talking about a guy that's been in the conversation for the greatest quarterback ever. Only put up 22 points the entirety of the Super Bowl. And those 22 points, if I'm not mistaken, didn't even come into the second half. Please, Brad, if you're out there, if you're listening, first and foremost, press the like button. All right. Comment down below what you think is our biggest number one need in this offseason. But please, Brad, go get us a dog opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. I know the way things are looking right now, people believe the window is open for a long time. And I don't believe the window is closed at all whatsoever. And I do believe we'll be a good team for a long time. But the quality of team you need to be to win a Super Bowl in this league anymore, it's got to be top tier, man. And I think getting another edge would do that for the Detroit Lions, not just any edge, a quality edge. And I'm specifically looking for guys that fit the mold of what they like to do. But like you said, I know there's more guys in this draft class. I want to do deep dives on them. Make sure you guys comment below. Who would you like the Detroit Lions to draft at 28 at the edge position to help this Detroit Lions defense and Kelvin Shepard? I need to know. Matter of fact, I'm even thinking about just Spags is a little bit of a mentor of Calvin Shepard's. I'm looking at the makeup of that Chiefs offense defensive line. I guess they got some smaller guys. They got some smaller guys, but they work sparingly, kind of like James Houston did. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think of like bigger body edges. You guys let me know down below who would you like the Detroit Lions to draft at that spot? Who would you like the Detroit Lions to sign for agency? Keep in mind the amount of money we're working with too. I don't know if we could just go make these splash signings. We never do make these splash signings. The biggest signings Brad Holmes made in the offseason have been DJ Reader and Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton, I believe, was his second contract. Could have been his third. And then obviously that didn't work out. But DJ Reader, I think he's well worth the money he's getting paid right now. I love DJ Reader. He may be going too. Maybe the next video we talk about for offseason needs is defensive tackle. I don't know if Broderick Martin is what we thought he'd be when we initially made that draft pick. But make sure you guys head over to Lions Nation Unite, get your merch. I like the Dan Campbell shirt. I may or may not have made a commercial for the Almond Rock Grit thing. Make sure you guys over to the Lions Nation Night. Get your merch, blankets, T-shirts, hoodies, jackets, all of that and more at lionsnationunite.com. Smash that like button. Comment down below. What do you think the Detroit Lions should do for the offseason?